Is that 4 Valdos? Feast your eyes.
Epilepsy warning.
Do it. Do the thing. Don't do the thing. Yeah. Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh or Milky, and in today's video, we're going to be wrapping up my videos for PoE1. I'm kind of drawing to a close now. This is going to be my last one, but I have been doing a ton of Blight this league. It's something I don't really do a lot of, but I tested it out so much, and it's so confusing actually, that I thought I'd make a video just going over the difficulties of figuring out the best way to farm Blight. So you may have seen some videos by someone who linked in my last video actually. It was called Carnarius, who was doing some map farming. I did a lot of map farming with the strategy, especially when those 8 mods were really good. I was doing tons of 8 mod map farming with the Blights. But it turns out there are some other hidden like features of Blight, obviously. So let's go through it to start with. We obviously have the huge number of maps that can drop, which we've seen with the Carnarius strat. Then we have the ability to turn an entire lane of Blight mobs into uniques, which can then be used with the Titanic scarabs to kind of scale the unique monster stuff with treasures and Titanic scarab and legend. But then there's just the let's just spawn as many mobs as possible approach, and obviously give them more loot. And that would be with something like Bloodlines, which Blight summons a ton of mobs, and those mobs actually work with Bloodlines. And I was getting a ratio of like 1-to-1 magic to normal mobs. I know this because I have the map device that counts the mobs for me. And then Risk Scarabs, obviously just incredible. Like too good, I'd say. Adding so much more quant rarity pack size to the map. Obviously, you need to be able to run them, which is another thing. An alternative to Risk Scarabs being Wisps. And then we have the Invigoration Scarab, which lets you build a ton of the green towers. And then that increases the reward of the Blight monsters. This is very, very, very strong. I was a bit of a doubter of this one, but having tested it a bit more, no, absolutely not. This is the Scarab. Then Blightheart, kind of one that makes it all tick. You want more waves of enemies, more monsters, and more loot from the pump. If you care about the pump loot, then the Blightheart Scarab is the way to go, right? You want to summon more monsters. Now, so you'd think we have a great setup here, right? And we do. This setup's fantastic. But there is a certain Scarab hiding off, waiting to be read off in the wings. And that is the Blight Scarab of Blooming. And if you're a fast reader, you'll be thinking, that does nothing for us, right? You get 3 additional unique bosses, so what? That's like nothing, right? Make some tankier, Blight Ravage maps, blah, blah, blah. But we don't care about the Blight Ravage maps. We don't care about the mini tanker. We don't care about the unique bosses. What do we care about with this Scarab? Well, it seems like, for whatever reason, this Scarab causes there not only to be additional unique bosses, but if you're not clear on how exactly Blight works, here's my understanding, as much as I've managed to glean from doing a lot of it this league. Each wave of Blight will happen, and the final wave is the one that can summon the rares and the uniques. Maybe you'll get the odd rare here and there before then. However, with this, it seems to add more waves of like the final wave. Like you get like repeats of the final wave. That's what it seems like to me. So you'll get like 4 final waves instead of 1 final wave. So you go from killing maybe 5 rares to 60 rares, I was seeing. So I'm going to run 2 maps. I'm going to like speed it up in the video editing process and then show you my kill counter afterwards on my map device. And you can see the difference in the number of rares. So I'm just going to do this in white maps. I'm going to use Blightheart and Blooming, and then the other one I'm just going to use Blightheart, and you'll see what I mean by it. So bear with me. I'm going to do that. I'll speed this part of the video up, but I will only speed it up. I won't skip it, just so you can see I'm not cheating. Okay, so this was the first one with Blooming. If you look down here, I killed 32 rares and 16 unique monsters. I think 6 of these were actually killed before the Blight, so 24 without Blooming. And you will have noticed if you were paying really close attention to the map itself, the unique mobs kept coming and coming and coming, right? There were so many waves of them at the end. But I'll speed through this map now, and we can do a comparison. I'll put them both on screen. Luckily, we got 6 waves in both of them, which makes it for a very ideal test. So there we have the next map. We have 8 rares killed. Quite a few of those are obviously from the map. And then 0 unique mobs killed. So very, very few rares. As like, I think 3 or 4 of these were from the map itself. So 4 rares in the whole Blight. No uniques. And way fewer normal mobs as well. So you'll have to take my word that this was a very frequent occurrence when I tested this. It was all done on stream. VODs are available. You can check this. I did this all day. Where I was, well, I compared it for the start of the stream, and then I kind of just accepted it after it just been consistently happening, right? Again, 2 rares in one map, 60 in another, and stuff like that. So the Blooming Scarab is a no-brainer to include in a Blight Pump farming strat. Invigoration 2, Blight Heart, and then we have Bloodlines and Risk to choose between. I'm going with double Risk right now. So the strategy that I am running for the most amount of loot coming out of the Blight Pump, it's Blight Heart, Blooming, Invigoration, and double Risk. Now, what this does mean, however, if this is to get popular, then these scarabs will most likely be expensive. These are quite rare scarabs. They are underused scarabs for their rarity, but I think this revelation is how they work, which I don't know if I said it already in the video. This was actually shared with me that this works this way by a gentleman called Peace, who was in my chat. He farmed this for the start of the league when 8 mod maps were available with, you know, all the T17 mobs, and he made mirrors and mirrors and mirrors. Dropping, I think he said he dropped every single T0 doing this, dropping like 5 divines of scarabs a map. He's dropped piles of divines in individual maps. My best, I think I dropped 4 Valdos and 2 divines in one map. That's the best I've managed to pull off. But yeah, this Blight Pump can just shoot out loot, which I'll play a little compilation at the end, and there'll be some at the beginning. So I'm sure you're familiar with what I'm talking about. Also, many other people have been doing this. So then what's the rest of the tree looking like if you were to farm this? Now, again, this is a very complicated farm in terms of what's actually best, in my opinion at least. This isn't like, I don't feel like there are too many no-brainers here, or at least there aren't too many. There's a lot we can take that's good, basically. So we have obviously all the scarab nodes, we have all the map effect nodes, which are crucial to get that pack size rarity, more currency, more scarabs, all that. You have to get all the map effect. We know this, it's 3.26. We know we need the map effect. Scarab stuff, very good. Cartography and ambush scarabs are blocks, so that we make sure we get the scarabs that we want. And then we're using settlers, actually. Settlers allows us to get bismuth ore, which can give us additional drops from the mobs once we've clicked on the bismuth ore. So what we're going to do is go through the map, find the bismuth ore, and then go and do the Blight. I've been doing it in T17s because it's easier to roll the maps. I'll show you an example. So we have my tier 16.5s. These can roll with 4 modifiers, and quite frequently do, which means getting a good amount of quant, rarity, pack size, currency, all that is very, very difficult. So doing it in T17s means that you can actually roll 6 mods every time. That's what T17s do. They always have 6 modifiers, I think it is. So you're way more likely to hit a good regex. So my regex that I'm using, I'll need to open Notepad. I apologize. It's right here. It's quite the book. This is what the mods I can't run, and then the rest is for like high currency, high scarabs, or high currency, high quantity, along with the additional modifier on rares if I happen to get that. So this is the one. This will be in the description if you want to use it as well. But on T17s, this is very few maps to hit. I can I can show you an example, right? We'll go here, find fortresses. I'll Yunky this. We've already hit quite a few. Let's see how long it takes us to hit one in this row. First one, another one. It's not that strict of a regex. Another one. You know, it's a good regex, but it's not particularly strict, right? You got 150 quant there, 40 pack size almost, 120 currency. Pretty good map. I'd run that. And then with risk scarabs on top of that, you're going to get a more pack size, more quantity, more rarity, more currency, potentially more scarabs and all that kind of stuff. So that regex will be in the description. And that's the kind of map you want to run. I prefer to do it in T17s. Make sure you kill the boss if you can. If you can't kill the boss, yeah, and you can source the 8 mod 16.5s, absolutely do so. They're very good. And that is what I settled on as kind of my go-to farm for the rest of the league. I think it's really fun to farm. I do worry a little bit about the scarabs getting too expensive, just as they're very rare scarabs. But yeah, I just find this really fun, right? You do the blight and all the loot drops in one place. It's really satisfying for all the loot to drop. You get a ton of uniques, ton of gold, ton of currency, ton of scarabs. It's just a lot of fun to farm, in my opinion. And I never thought I'd be saying that. Blight is my favorite farm that I've done this league, and it's what I'll farm off into the sunset to cap on. Well, it's been a pretty fun league for me, Mercenaries of Tratus. I enjoyed it. I did have a bit of struggle finding a build that I settled on. Ultimately, I think it's a good start for GGG getting back into the swing of things. I appreciate you watching any videos of mine that you may have watched this league. There weren't that many because I feel like the meta didn't really get shaken up all that much in terms of doing like currency tests and that. I do really like the videos I made this league though, the more you know, meta kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope this video inspires you to maybe do some blight and maybe even test out some of the things that I spoke about in this video, as it's a very complicated mechanic to find the right things to use. I'll see you in the next video.